Okay, this is a set that I've been waiting for a long time since I've heard it was announced, and I just watched it, and wow, is this great. This is an Angela Mao Kung Fu double feature from Arrow Home Video on Blu-ray of Lady Whirlwind and HAPKIDO, and boy, was that Lady a Whirlwind. This is so good. So Angela Mao, most people maybe who are more casual fans of martial arts films might know Angela Mao as Bruce Lee's sister in Enter the Dragon, but she was a superstar before Bruce Lee started making movies. Not by a lot, but she was a superstar before that. So here we have from Arrow, we have two Golden Harvest Angela Mao martial arts films that both kick ass. They're both really, really fun. There's not a lot of downtime between, not a lot of, what did Joe Bob used to say, not a lot of story to get not a lot of story to get in the way of the plot or something like that. So not a lot of time spent between fight scenes. Now, nonstop fight scenes are boring, but these movies, they knew how to do it right. They knew how to pace it, they knew how to shoot it and edit it, and the martial arts are fantastic. There's really cool use of slow-mo at times, and there's some familiar faces too. You see Sammo Hung in both of these films in various size roles, and I want to say Yun Bio might be in one of these, and I think Yun Wa's in one of these, and Jackie Chan can very briefly be seen sort of as an extra in a couple of these films, but it's just, these are so good. So I'm going to give very, very light overviews of the films and then just talk about the extras. So Lady Whirlwind, Angela Mao's a woman. Her sister has sort of been driven by suicide because this guy sort of rebuffed her sister when she was pregnant, and the sister killed herself, and Angela Mao's out for revenge to kill this guy. She finds out that he is wanted by some bad gambling kingpin or something like that who wants to kill this guy. So she's like, Angela Mao says to the guy, I'm going to do you in, but first I'm going to help you do in this guy who wants to kill you so I can be the one to kill you. There's just a lot of fighting. There's just a lot of foo and a lot of fisticuffs, and it's wonderful. The other film is HAPKIDO, also known, I believe, as Lady Kung Fu, and this is a film where Angela Mao and Sammo Hung and one or two other people are in South Korea, I believe, and they're bullied by the Japanese. This is set back like in the 40s, I want to say, 40s or early 50s. And they come back home to their village in Hong Kong, and they find out there's Japanese have been muscling in there and roughing everybody up and shutting down dojos and saying only their karate or judo style is, I think it's the judo style is the only thing that can be practiced. So Mao and her compatriots set out to bust up the bad guys and defend their dojo in the honor of the dojo and all that stuff. It's just a great excuse for a lot of martial arts and kung fu and various styles and some absolute slamming showpieces, especially in HAPKIDO. Everybody gets their chance to shine. Each of these individual members of this small group of siblings or compatriots has their showpiece moment. And Sammo Hung has a great one in like a food marketplace. And Angela Mao has hers. And everybody has one. And they're really, really good. If there were no extras on this set, I would say if you like martial arts, 70s martial arts, kung fu movies, Lady Whirlwind and HAPKIDO is good stuff. So what we also have, you have your original dialogue, your original audio, so you have it in your original Chinese dialogue. You have, I think on one or more of these, you have multiple English dub tracks. You either have the original dub track that was heard in Europe or the US dub track, or there's like a newer enhanced dub track. Now, I know it is sacrilege to many. I got no beef with subtitles. I'll watch movies in the original language all day long. Because of how I originally saw a lot of these movies, dubbed on TV and dubbed on videotape, Godzilla movies and martial arts movies, I don't mind the dub. It's part of the charm. The dubbing does basically eradicate however good the original actors were. I'll say that, because the dubbing is always not good. The dubbing is always over the top and silly, and they have to retranslate it to match the mouth movements of people, and they're not really saying what they said in the original movie. So I get everybody who's against dubbing. I get it, and I love the fact that you have a chance. But sometimes, if I'm a little lazy, I might go with the dub track. On these, I went with the dub track. So I'm going to read to you off some notes, all the extras. You're going to flip. You're going to flip. And I watched all the extras, so I can tell you about it. So you get an image gallery. The image galleries are fun. They show you on-set photos, and they show you tons of lobby cards and different posters and how different countries would basically represent the films artistically, and some of them are pretty great. You get Hong Kong theatrical trailers and US trailer and the TV spots. You get original vintage featurette. Oh, this was for HAPKIDO. Original vintage featurette showing all of the leads in the film being certified as like, okay, these people know how to do HAPKIDO by a HAPKIDO master who's in the film, which is just like a cool publicity stunt kind of thing. You get 3 alternate opening credit sequences. Some include, I think this is all for HAPKIDO. Yeah, I'm doing this backwards. For HAPKIDO, we're talking about the second film. Disc 2. You get 3 credit sequences. So the opening credit sequence for HAPKIDO is like a fight scene in a dojo with little flashes of like artistic renderings of the characters and text. So you get 2 versions of that, and then you get one that's just without all that stuff, which is kind of cool. You get archival interviews with Angela Mao, Carter Wong, Sammo Huang, and Yen Bao. I forgot Carter Wong is in HAPKIDO, and you'd know him. American genre fans would probably know him as one of the 3 spiritual kung fu guys in Big Trouble in Little China. So those are really good interviews that are about not just about that movie, but about like their lives and how they got into the business and what they did in the business. Those are highly recommended. You get a commentary by Frank Chang and Robert Bobby Samuels, and you get a commentary by Frank Chang and Michael Worth. Those are each worth listening to. They both know their stuff, and they talk about the styles of kung fu and their interactions with the people in the movie. Again, this is for HAPKIDO. You get my favorite parts of these, and I'm gonna diverticulate off a little bit at one point. You get a new featurette interview with Angela Mao entitled "Lady Kung Fu Speaks," and it's the second part. This is the disc 2, as I said. So we're doing all this backwards. So I was able to go. I don't know if you know this. This blew my mind when I read about this a couple years ago. Angela Mao lives in New York, the state of New York in America. She's lived in America since I think the 80s or 90s, maybe the 90s. She runs a restaurant called Neng Beha, I believe, or Neng Beho. I may be wrong. And if you go there, she's there, and she likes meeting fans. And if you buy a meal, she'll sign whatever you want. So kung fu fans go there when they know about this place. And she's just this nice older Chinese lady, super sweet. I say all this because I went. I was too shy to talk to her. Next time I go back, I will. Now that I know she is not bothered by people saying hello. But the food was really good, very, very reasonably priced. It's in Queens, New York, and it's this little Chinese restaurant, but it's really, really good. And Angela Mao's there. And then 2 doors over, she and her son have opened a place called The Shack, which is like a Cajun-style restaurant, and it's much, much bigger. And there's that too. And that place has things on the menu like the Lady Kung Fu and the Sammo Hung, and they name some of the dishes after martial artists. So this new Angela Mao interview is wonderful. She's super sweet, and she talks about the film and her career. Now we're going to move backwards just because that's how it's printed on this. On disc 1, which is disc 1 is Lady Whirlwind. Commentary by Frank Chang and Bobby Samuels. Original Mandarin audio, mono audio, and English dubbed mono. So on disc 1, you get the commentaries that I mentioned. You also get a Sam Deegan commentary, and you might say, 3 commentaries, isn't that a bit excessive? Actually, no. There's almost no content that's repeated between the 3, and the Sam Deegan commentaries on these martial arts films are always excellent. So, and like nonstop talking. So you get so much information and so much insight into every aspect of the movie. They're all wonderful. You get a 13-minute Angela Mao interview, and then maybe one of my favorite things on the whole disc, you get a half-hour interview where Frank Chang interviews Thomas King, who's the son of Angela Mao, who runs the restaurants with her, and you get the complete history of Angela Mao's life, to a short version of it, coming to America, what it was like to have Angela Mao as a mother, what it was like to realize my mother's like a kung fu superstar, what it was like, how the restaurants came to be, and then it really gets into the restaurants, and it's fascinating, and maybe more fascinating for me because I've been to these restaurants and I have the ability somewhat easily to go back to them again, but it's just fascinating. How does a kung fu superstar move all the way around the world and then become like a successful restaurateur, beloved community restaurateur? So this set is so good. This is one that I'm tempted. So like I said, I get these review copies that don't have the artwork and they don't have the booklet and they come in a thin case. This is the one I might actually buy again for myself so I can have all the packaging, because these movies are so fun. Angela Mao is so cool, such a sweet person. I highly, highly recommend this era release on Blu-ray of Lady Whirlwind and HAPKIDO.